Welcome to a new way. He has put you on a new journey. Hold close to him and follow what he says. Sent the final prophet Muhammad to mankind a mercy. Welcome to a new way. He has put you on a new journey. Hold close to him and follow what he says. Sent the final prophet Muhammad to mankind a mercy. Welcome to a new way. He has put you on a new journey. Hold close to him and follow what he says. Sent the final prophet Muhammad to mankind a mercy. Welcome to a new way. He has put you on a new journey. Hold close to him and follow what he says. Sent the final prophet Muhammad to mankind a mercy. Welcome to a new way. He has put you on a new journey. Hold close to him and follow what he says. Sent the final prophet Muhammad to mankind a mercy. Welcome to a new way. He has put you on a new journey. Hold close to him and follow what he says. Sent the final prophet Muhammad to mankind a mercy. Welcome to a new way. He has put you on a new journey. Hold close to him and follow what he says. Sent the final prophet Muhammad to mankind a mercy. Welcome to a new way. He has put you on a new journey. Hold close to him and follow what he says. Sent the final prophet Muhammad to mankind a mercy.
Assalamu alaikum. Get to know your Lord. First part of the Right Belief series by Sheikh Karim AbuZaid. This dynamic literary work of art's main goal is to revive an understanding the names and attributes of Allah. And understanding the name and attributes of Allah will elevate our faith, strengthen us, and keep us steadfast. This wonderful book is now available in an audiobook format and can be found free of charge on YouTube, channel Karim AbuZaid. Get to know your Lord. You have nothing to lose.
Know your Lord. We learn about his names and his attributes. Know your Lord. What he approves and disapproves. Know your Lord. Believe in all things that he has brought forth. Know his oneness, Lord.
Know Your Lord, part of the Right Belief series by Sheikh Karim AbuZaid, right here on Sunnahfollowers. Being taught by Ustada Layla Nashiba as she lays down the foundations to get you together. Learn about your Lord. Know your Lord. Streaming on all major platforms. Channel Sunnahfollowers.
Ina alhamdulillah, wassalat, wassalam ala wa rasulallah. I want to welcome everybody here to our class, our Aqidah class. Get to know your Lord. Get to know your Lord. Of all the classes that I teach here at this website, out of all the lectures that we give here, this is the most important. Because if you don't know your Lord, if we do not know our Lord, know of him what we're supposed to know of him, this may be what determines your outcome will be in the hereafter when you're in that grave. Death can happen at any moment. And I think if we start thinking more about death instead of just if we would think more about death instead of thinking about paradise and hell. And why do I say that? Because death is the stepping stone to the hereafter. A lot of us don't understand that you will be punished in your grave. We don't have to wait until we won't be waiting until the day of judgment to be punished. This is a misconception, and we're going to talk about that in detail because that's part of the correct aqidah, the correct belief system. We have to know what happens in that grave. We have to know about paradise and hell. We're going to cover that in this book too, later on, way later on. But a lot of Muslims don't understand that once Allah takes your soul, and death can come at any moment. You can be walking down the street, you can trip over a stick and fall down and hit your head, and that's it, you're done. I can lean back in this chair and go so far back that I fall on the floor, hit my head, I'm done. You can be eating a sandwich or eating some steak and talking, and the steak gets lodged in your throat, and that's it, you're done, you're dead. You can be taking a shower and slip on the soap and hit your head, you're dead. Death can come at any moment. And I'm going to tell you guys something. You will know instantly. Oh, yes. You will know if you going to hell. When those angels pull your soul from your throat, they will tell you. They'll tell you while they're taking it. They're going to let you know if you're going to be going to hell right now or not. So if we thought about the reality, of death, and that we will be punished effective immediately, that would make us think twice about the choices we make in this world. And after they take your soul out your throat, they're going to tell you as they pull it, oh, you come on out, you going to hell. Come on out, bad soul, you going to hell. You're going to know instantly. And if you're going to hell, when they take you and write you up and write you and have your name written in their book and drop you, because they're going to throw you back in your body. That's when it all begins. Oh, yeah. That man that represents the bad deeds, the bad choices you made in life is going to appear before you. Forget about the question of the grave. I'm going to tell you why. Because that's all y'all think it is. Muslims just think Allah's going to ask me 4 questions. I'm going to give the answer. I'm going to paradise. No, that ain't how it goes. No. Because even if you know the questions and answer them correctly, a man is going to appear after that. And he's going to represent your good and bad deeds. And he's going to say, even though you believed in Allah, you still didn't make your prayers on time. You still didn't wear hijab. You cursed out your mother. You hurt people in this world. You didn't make up your fast from Ramadan. So guess what? Until the day of judgment, I'm going to take your soul and put it in hell. Oh, yeah. And that's the part that these brothers don't tell you, because they don't know the hadiths. And not everything is in the Quran. The hadiths are the explanation of the Quran. Oh, yeah. Did you guys know that? Even if you do answer the questions correctly, because you believe that, all that means is you believe in Allah. That's all that means. All that means is, well, she was a Muslim. But remember, there will be good Muslims and bad Muslims. Our nation will be divided into 3 groups in the hereafter. Y'all didn't know that? You're going to have the people of the right hand. Who are the people of the right hand? These are the people that have earned the love of Allah, and they will spend no time in hell because they did so much good for this religion that Allah will forgive them of their sins. And you got the forerunners. Who are the forerunners? That's the group that won't even be questioned. They just go straight to paradise. Those are the prophets of Allah. Those are the companions of the prophet and the prophet himself. The chances of you or I being in that group is very slim, because Allah says the majority of those 70,000 are from the early generations of Muslims. So you can forget it, basically. And then the third group are the sinful Muslims. Who are the sinful Muslims? They're the ones that believed in Allah, but they didn't practice their religion correctly. They didn't do the things they were supposed to do. They didn't pray. They didn't wear hijab. They didn't fast. They fornicated. They adulterated. They lied. They cheated. They smoked weed. They smoked cigarettes. Those are the ones that's going to be in that grave being punished in hell. Did y'all know that? So don't get it twisted. I don't want any of you believing that, oh, when I die, I'll sleep until the day of judgment. No, that's the Christian belief. The prophet said, once your soul is pulled, those angels will let you know what's good, where you going. You going to hell if you didn't fulfill your obligations. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the majority of us will be in hell, paying for those sins that we did in this world. And then on the day of judgment, that's when Allah may say, okay, since you spent the past 10,000 years in hell, because you've been dead 10,000 years, and since your soul was in hell that time, Allah may say, well, now I choose to forgive you. Now you can go to paradise. Y'all didn't know that, did you? See, if we start thinking like that, that'll make us be careful of the choices we make in this world. A lot of sisters ask me, Layla, why do you stay in the house? Because I think about the grave all the time. I don't want my soul to be in hell for no 10. You're going to be in that grave until the day of judgment, and that hellfire until the day of judgment. I don't want that. That's why Allah says your home is better for you. I'm in the house. I don't leave except to go shopping and get my food and stuff. I leave when I have to. I stay in the home to protect myself and protect others from me. And I spend all my time basically on this internet teaching or making videos and all of that. Okay? If we thought about that grave more, you'd be scared. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, fear, and never forget the destroyer of life and its pleasures, which is death. Those companions thought about death all the time. You have to remember, guys, the companions were constantly in battle. They were fighting in battle. So they knew that they could die at any moment. So they feared Allah. How many of us today fear him? Like Ibn Masud told one of a man, he said, you people are different than us. You look at sins as if they're nothing. You flick them away like you flicking away a fly. We took every sin as being something great. We, the companions, we viewed every sin for what it is, an act of disobedience, because we knew Allah could take our soul at any moment. And we didn't want to end up in that grave with our soul being punished in hell. And by the way, when your soul is in hell, your body is being crushed over and over and over in that grave, and you will feel it. Oh, yes. You will feel the pain that your soul endures in that fire. You want to know what the punishment is for not wearing a hijab? You just want to know what the punishment is for going out the house without being covered properly? I just went out and bought me some coffee. I passed by a group of young Muslim girls, about 6 of them, coming from the theater. I guess they went to see Deadpool. I don't know. They look just like Kaffir girls with rags on their head. They had on little tight-fitting pants and tops and little rags on their head. And I told them, do you sisters know the punishment for not dressing properly? The punishment, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the punishment for a woman going out of the house without being covered with the proper khimar and the proper abaya is your soul will be placed in a hot cauldron and you will be naked. You will be inside that cauldron with the fornicators and the adulterers, and you will be boiled and roasted over and over and over and over in that cauldron until the day of judgment. What's the source? Sahih Bukhari. So that's the punishment for you Muslim girls and Muslim women not dressing properly. Your hijab is supposed to cover your bosom, like mine. You're supposed to have on an overgarment that doesn't show the shape of your body, that doesn't show the shape of your legs, the shape of your arms. It should be wide like mine to not show the shape. The only thing that can be seen of you is this, because this is what Ibn Abbas, what Ibn Umar, and what Aisha said. This is what means by what naturally appears thereof. When Allah says, except for what naturally appears thereof. As Aisha, radiallahu anha, said, if a woman reaches up, you can't help but see this part of my arm. This is natural. I can't hide it. If I reach or I bend over, that's naturally thereof. That's all that can be seen. And it has to be because I'm doing something to make it happen. Not because I'm wearing a dress that a body that doesn't cover the arm. Y'all understand that? When you die, if you got hit by a car and you die, oh yeah, those angels are telling you, sorry sister, you're going to have to do some time in hell until the day of judgment. You ain't coming out. Whoever is placed after that man appears in your grave, representing your bad deeds and your good deeds, and tells you this would have been your home in paradise, this would have been your home in hell. He said, but you're going to have to spend time in hell. You ain't coming out. You're going to stay in that fire until the day of judgment. Y'all don't understand that. Like I told those young girls today, you will be in hell until the day of judgment. That could be 50,000 years. It's painful being roasted in a cauldron with a bunch of fornicators and adulterers over and over for 50 million years. And you feel it all. Agony, the screaming, the hollering. Y'all better think. You better think about your choices in this world. This religion is deep. And like I told those girls, you can recite the Quran till your heart fall out. You ain't going to understand it till you learn the history and the meaning behind those verses. And you ain't going to find that in the Quran. That's the hadith. Allah doesn't tell you what the punishments are for the different sins we commit in the Quran. But the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, broke down the punishments for a whole lot of sins. And that's just one. I do a class on that too. I teach a class on the different sins of punishment. Okay? So take this deen serious, young women and older women, because a lot of grown Muslims, and by the way, I know we got this Somalian woman. There's a Somalian woman who has violated all the laws of Allah, not only in her dress and appearance, not only in her marriage, not only in the people she hang out with, and not only in the profession that she chose. But that woman is not a role model for any Muslim on this planet, because she just may be an example of one of those women in that hellfire. So y'all better choose your role models carefully. Your role model should be the female companions, not nobody in this world. Don't take nobody in this world as a role model for you, because the people in this world don't know where they're going. Those companions were given the news of paradise. Your role model should be the wives of the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the female companions of the Prophet, like Hani, Rumayya, Asiya, Atika, and others. Not these trailer park women of today, because most of these women today are trailer park. They're not examples of Islam. They're trailer park trash examples of how not to be, as they advocate for feminism and LGBTQ. Are you people crazy? Taking some LGBTQ woman who hangs out with drag queens as a role model, who don't even know her role as a Muslim woman? You sisters better get it together, because that's what I asked those girls today. I asked them, who's your role model? And they named that Somali woman. I said, are you people crazy? And I pulled it up on my video, on my camera. I said, look who she hangs with. I pulled up the video of her dancing with the drag queens, advocating LGBTQ. I said, is this your role model? They said, oh, we didn't know. I said, yeah, that's going to be man's excuse. But Allah is not going to accept I did not know on the day of judgment. He's going to ask you, why didn't you know? You were born Muslim, raised Muslim, and you did not know that your role models as a Muslim woman should have been the mothers of the believers? Then something's wrong with you. Don't get it twisted. And so today what I'm going to do is give you guys a quiz. By the way, I shared this quiz with that group of young girls. They couldn't answer half the questions. So let's hope that you guys can fare better than they did. Let me put on the screen our quiz, because we spent all last week talking about the perception of Allah. the perception of Allah. And let me put this here. Started from the beginning. Okay. Everybody can see my y'all can see my screen. Here's our quiz. Let's look at the first question. True or false? Moses, alayhi salam, was the only prophet that saw Allah. Is that statement true or false? And by the way, are any people here in my Zoom room? I pray that y'all listening to me and that somebody has shared this live screen on the Sunnahfollower group page. So please make sure y'all have shared this so the sisters who are out of the country. I got a lot of people in Saudi Arabia and the Emirates who joined, and I didn't know that they're on our WhatsApp. They're on our WhatsApp channel, and they want you to put it there so they can come in because they're in a different time. So please make sure that somebody has because I forget. Let me make sure that nobody's done it.
It's there. I already did.
Okay, thank you, baby. Because I didn't know we have y'all. Y'all know I don't know. They got those phone numbers that don't have names. Those are the Muslims that say, you know how I showed y'all the stats? We got Muslims from in Kuwait, in Saudi Arabia, the different countries. And I kept telling y'all where they coming from. I know the ones that from the Emirates because they on LinkedIn. Well, they from that. Those are the numbers that don't have no names in our group. Okay. Is this true or false? Moses, alayhi salam, was the only prophet that saw Allah.
Answer is false. No one has seen Allah.
Okay, do you guys agree on YouTube? People on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, LinkedIn, and Instagram. What do y'all say? Brother Merard says it's false. Moses never saw Allah. What about that hadith about how Moses, alayhi salam, was at a tree and he asked Allah to show himself? Y'all remember that? There's a verse in the Quran too that says that Moses asked Allah to reveal himself at a tree. What happened? Can anybody remember? Did Allah show Moses himself at that tree? For those of you who said this is false, do you still keep that answer? Do you guys still have that answer that that Moses did not see him? When there's a verse in the Quran that mentions Moses asking Allah to show himself to him at a tree. What do y'all say?
I say no, that Allah did not still show himself to Moses, and that Allah told him to look at the mountain. And I'm just paraphrasing it, but Allah told him to look at that mountain. And then if that mountain is able to see Allah, then he'll be able to see Allah. And that mountain crushed. It disintegrated into dirt.
Exactly. This is false. Good job, guys. When you come upon some of these Sufis, because we got a lot of Sufis here in America. Most of these daya here, these are du'at. Most of the du'at, the speakers here in America are Sufi. If you hear them talking about Moses and the tree and the mountain and Allah showed himself to him, this is not correct. Like she said, the mountain, would have been destroyed if it could see him. Allah has never shown himself to Moses, alayhi salam. Good job. What about this? True or false? Allah took on the form of an angel and went to visit Prophet Abraham, alayhi salam. Is that true or false? Allah took on the form of an angel and went to visit Abraham, alayhi salam. Is this true or false? What do you guys think?
The answer is false.
What about the rest of y'all in that Zoom room? Mina answering all the questions. She's showing me that she pays attention. There's a bunch of, let me open up this Zoom room so y'all can see these.
Yeah, I just answered. You didn't hear me. I said false, because Allah doesn't just put himself in anything. He doesn't do anything like that. Allah is a creator. He doesn't put himself up in anything. Angel, horses, or whatever.
Okay, they all said false, guys. Well, what about the story in the Quran where Allah says that that Allah speaks about how the angels, 3 men came to visit Abraham, and Abraham offered them food and they didn't eat? Was that Allah? Y'all remember that story in the Quran? 3 men.
No, that was not Allah. Those were angels that Allah sent.
Exactly.
And angels don't eat.
Exactly. So again, when y'all hear these mystic Sufis, there's a bunch of them here in America. When y'all hear these mystic Sufis speaking about Allah taking the form of an angel, or Allah taking the form of a horse or a turtle dove, that is not correct. And by the way, one of the questions that the new Shahadas asked me is, why is there, it seems to be more Sufis? And this is correct, guys. There's more Sufi people of the Sufi sects than anything else. The reason why is because out of all the different sects, and by the way, all those sects of Muslims will be in the hellfire. The only sect that will not be in the hellfire are those who were upon the traditional Islam. The traditional Islam is what the Prophet Muhammad and those companions and the first 4 leaders after them were upon. If your practice and belief doesn't match theirs, you're done. Okay? But why is Sufism more popular than anything else? Because it's the sect that resembles most the Christians. They resemble the Christians more than anyone else. And as Islam spread throughout the world, a lot of the people were Christians. The Romans were Christians. The Persians were not Christians, but they adapted many Christian ideologies. A lot of the people in Africa were Christian. So Sufism appealed to them more because it resembles most Christianity, which is sad. Okay? Now, next question. Who can give us the meaning of this verse of the Quran? Let me make my screen larger so you guys can see the verse well. I meant to blow it up. Here we go. Allah says, in the interpretation of the meaning, vision perceives him not, but he perceives all. And he is the subtle and the acquainted. What does this verse mean? What is Allah telling us in plain, simple English? This is Shakespearean English that we don't speak today. But who can tell me what does it mean in broke down grassroots English? What is Allah saying here? Go ahead, Geechee.
It basically means that what we see and what we perceive to see is outside the bounds of how Allah is able to see all things. So our capacity is very limited.
Okay, anyone else? Anyone else? What does this verse mean? Vision perceives him not, but he perceives all vision. Vision perceives him not. This is Shakespearean Old English. So who can put it in plain, simple, grassroots English? Vision. What? Go ahead.
Alhamdulillah. To me, it means that nothing comes out of a vision, or nothing can be seen unless Allah lets it be seen.
That's a good guess, but not really. Vision perceives him not. What does that mean? That's Old English. People from the United Kingdom. Brother Hussein, I think you're in the United Kingdom. This should be right up your alley. I think you guys speak the Queen's English. Walaikum salam, brother Hussein. What does that part mean? Vision perceives him not. Just that one sentence. That's Old English. The people in the UK, y'all should know it. What does the sentence, if I say vision perceives him not, or if I say vision perceives me not, if I say vision perceives me not, what am I saying? See, I majored in English, and I love Old English. I really do. I like Old English because it's just romantic. What does that mean? Vision if I tell you, oh, vision perceives me not, what am I saying?
I can't see him.
No. That's what you would think, but this shows how American English is so bad. Vision perceives.
Something like you can't grip it if you've seen it or if you didn't see it. Like you can't grasp it. Your mind wouldn't be able to hold it.
Not really.
Oh, okay.
Nobody in the UK. You UK, y'all let the Queen's English become distorted. Y'all don't know it either. I'm surprised at the UK Muslims. Oh, Lord. Okay. When Allah says vision perceives him not, it means no one can see him. See how American English is backwards. If I say vision perceives me not, I am telling you, you can't see me. I'm hidden from you. If I say vision perceives her not, I'm saying we can't see her. If I say vision perceives me not, it means you can't see me. So what does this verse mean? I want y'all to write it down because this is the problem. When we read the Quran, the interpretation of meaning in English, we get lost. We don't understand what Allah is saying. We get it twisted and backwards. Allah is telling us here that good job, Latifa got it. Because Latifa's a teacher like me. Latifa knows Old English. Mukhtar would have got it right too. We're teachers. We know that English. Okay. So that's what that means. When Allah says vision perceives him not, he is saying that you cannot see him. Then he says, but he perceives vision. That means he sees everything. So Allah is telling us that even though we cannot see him, he can see us and everything else. So this verse right here is the dalil that no one can see Allah, because he says we perceive him not. But why is it that the Sufis get that twisted? Because they don't know what we perceives him not mean. Okay, it's Old English. All right, look at the next question. Give the meaning of this hadith and explain how it relates to making salat. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, reflect deeply upon the creation. And by the way, that's an example of how we use the Meccositic sources, even with the hadiths. The science of the hadith is the same as the science of the Quran. And like I told y'all, that's the methodology I use. I use the analytical approach based on thematicism and comparison. I'm going to make you look at the words and break down the meaning of the words and the verses so you can understand them. Because that's where the people lose it. They don't understand the meaning of the words. Here's another example. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, reflect deeply upon the creation, but do not reflect upon the essence of the Creator. Verily, his essence cannot be known other than to believe in it. Now, this is not Old English, but this is proper English. How many of us can understand proper English? Who can give me the meaning of this hadith? What is the Prophet telling us here? Break it down in plain grassroots English. We speak grassroots English. The American English that I'm speaking to y'all right now, this is called grassroots.
Okay, reflect deeply upon the creation. Study deeply the creation, but do not reflect upon the essence of the Creator. Don't reflect upon the essence of Allah, because his essence cannot be known. It can only be believed in.
MashaAllah. Fresno broke it down. That's the analytical science of the Quran and the Hadith. That's the approach Layla's known for. That's why people hate me, because I make y'all, I'm not trying to floor show you. I'm not trying to clown y'all. I'm trying to get y'all to understand the Quran and the Hadith. I'm using the same approach the Prophet used. The same approach the companions used. So it's not my fault that you don't understand. Good job, Fresno. I'm proud of you. Exactly. In this verse, the prophet is simply telling us, this is proper English. He's simply telling us, don't sit there trying to ponder the essence of Allah. Don't try to figure out how Allah look. Instead, think about what he's done for you. Think about how he's in control of you. So how does this relate to making salat? In other words, how does this relate to kushua? Who can answer that? This is where Brother Ahmad, is Brother Ahmad here? Brother Ahmad has asked this question before. Brother Malik has a problem with this when it comes to praying. How does this relate to praying? Anyone? Come on, guys.
So how it will relate to praying is that you see, you can't picture Allah. So don't even try to picture Allah, but picture that you are praying in front of a creator that is greater than. So you just concentrate on that significance when you're praying, that you're praying in front of your Lord, and you just concentrate on that, because you would never ever be able to see him, but you concentrate on the essence of him, the power of him, and being insignificant. I don't know how to just be in so much powerful.
You
so
broke that down. That's what I'm talking about. She sounds like Sister Layla. Sister Layla. Mm-hmm. Exactly. You brothers, stop trying to picture how Allah looks. We're not supposed to imagine that Allah is how he looks when we pray. We're not supposed to do that. That hadith of the Prophet is not telling us to imagine that he's standing in front of you and look at his eyes and no, his essence. No, instead, you imagine yourself standing before an entity greater than anything you can even imagine. It's so great that you can't imagine how he looked. All I know is I got to be humble. Let me humble myself and give him this my attention to this entity. That's it. That's the mistake these brothers are making. They're trying to picture how Allah looks. We can never imagine how he looks. And we're going to talk about that tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about Allah's hands. We're going to talk about Allah's feet, his eyes, because the Sufis lose it. And so many of us are under the Sufi indoctrination.
At a 30-day residential treatment center out here. I was part of the leadership team of one of the largest recovery houses in Northeast Ohio, down in Warren, a place called Wellspring. I've heard of it. In the winter, the director Jack, he don't like to throw dudes on the street, so he'll start like letting dudes.
Oh, Brother George, you talking to me?
Oh,
His
no,
mic
sorry.
is on.
Oh, I thought he was talking to me. I'm like, because I know Brother George. I was like, okay. I thought George was sharing with us. I'm sorry. I was like, okay, what happened? We live in Northeast Ohio too. I was like, and he said, Warren, what happened to prisons out there? I was like, what happened now? Latifah, he lives where we live. He's in Youngstown. Yeah. I'm like, what happened? A lot of Muslims. Oh, yeah. I thought he was talking to us. Okay. All right. Good job. Next question. Okay. Here's the next question. Even though we cannot see Allah, Allah tells us that he's left universal signs. There are universal signs of him. What are some of the universal signs? Because this is what's sister? One of the new shahadas in its new shahada group asked me what is meant by a universal sign. So you see, I added it to the quiz. What's an example of a universal sign of Allah, guys? What's an example of a universal sign of Allah? Come on, guys. I got Mukhtar's class in a couple of minutes. Okay, AY, good job. AY said an example of a universal sign of Allah is the rising of the sun, the rising of the moon, how the rain falls down from the sky. You understand, Brother Edward? Brother Edward, Bethany, Elizabeth, that whole group. So the universal signs, like Emma said, the moon, these are the signs that Allah put in effect for us to see. Signs that we know that man cannot create. Nobody can create a sun or a moon or a star. Exactly like Brother Emma said, the mountains holding the earth, the mountains. These are signs that we can look around that tell us that there's something better than us out there. And that's Allah. Okay, he said he got it. Good job. So y'all understand the new shahadas. MashaAllah. What about this? Allah also says in the Quran, exalt the name of your Lord, the Most High, who created and proportioned and who destined and guided. This is the question. When Allah talks about he said who created and proportioned, that means that Allah is telling us to exalt, to praise, to glorify Allah, who created everything within balance. Proportion is another word for balance. So, give some examples of how Allah has balanced things. Give us an example of how Allah has created things with balance. This is another question that the new shahadas asked. What's an example, guys, of how Allah has balanced everything?
Would be one example. Will one example be the way he created the animals, that they're in their own community? Like, say, for instance, the bees and the they don't go into and hang out with the cats and different things like that.
Exactly. Look at how every creature has its own balance. The bees, like she said, they don't hang out with the mosquitoes. The bees produce honey. They have their hive. They have a queen, all of that. The ants have their own ecosystem and their queen. The mosquitoes got their own. Good job. Also, again, the mountains. The mountains serve a purpose. They hold the earth still. Exactly as Rashida said, male and female. We're balanced. Allah, and He created us, we're opposites, but we attract. Men have a problem controlling their lust and desires. We control our lust and desires better than men do. But we have a problem with our emotions. Men are able to control their emotions better, so we balance each other out. Opposites attract. We balance each other out. So do y'all understand that? Allah created everything with balance. He didn't give too much to any creature. He didn't give too much power, too much authority to any of His creation. All of His creation balance out. Does everybody understand? So, mashallah, that's our quiz. And this quiz covers everything that we've talked about last week and the week before about getting to know your Lord. Even though we can't see Him, even though we can't touch Him, He's placed signs all around us to help us to recognize He is who He is. All right. Any questions? Tomorrow, I'm going to go into detail about His fingers, His eyes, because this is another question that not just the new shahadas asked me about. Brother Malik has asked about that too. What about Allah's hands? What about Allah's fingers? What about His feet? What about this? What about that? Brother Tajri asked me about that the other day. We're going to talk about that. All right. So what I'm going to do, guys, we have another class. Let me tell y'all about the classes today. Mukhtar is doing the life of Khalid bin Walid. That's going to be in 10 minutes. Tonight at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, the continuation of the sacred bonds. I will be talking about marriage. And we're going to talk about the role of the guardian. We're going to go into details about the role of the wali. So make sure you guys read the book, chapter 13. I did post it up. Okay. Wait a minute. Hold on for a second. Let me check to make sure. I just got a text message. Let me see see if I can text it on my computer. Oh, God. I tell you, I can never. Hold on, guys. Let me see what this brother just texted me. Oh. All right. Okay, we'll deal with that, brother. You can hear me? Okay, you hear me? I'll talk about that. I'm going to talk about that during the class at 9:30. So we'll save that. I'll save that for 9:30 with you. That's what we're going to be talking about, the guardian. He said he's a guardian over somebody. He's got some questions. Well, questions about guardianship, bring it to me then. Any other questions? Sister Saba, what is Salat Tasbih? Okay, this is a voluntary prayer. That means you don't ever in your life have to pray it. I'm going to be honest. I never pray it because it ain't important to me. Okay? But whenever we do voluntary prayers, the Prophet Muhammad said, make them different than the obligatory prayers. The voluntary prayers are usually prayed in sets of twos. This voluntary prayer is prayed in sets of 4. And that's all it is. Nothing else to say about it. Some people even question the authenticity of that hadith. So I'll talk about the voluntary prayers in our class on prayers. But what I would suggest to all you sisters and brothers focus on is making Fajr, Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, and Isha, because those are the prayers that you have to make. And many of us are not doing them. The voluntary prayers, you ain't got to ever in your life do it. Salatul Tasbih, I never do it and don't plan on ever doing it, okay? Because I don't have to do it. But I want y'all to focus on the 5 daily prayers, because that's where we're falling short. And that's what you're going to be held accountable for. But some people question whether that's even authentic. Some people question the authenticity of that. So I wouldn't worry about it, Saba. Worry about the other prayers. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. What I'm going to do is log off, and then I'm going to log back in. I'm going to log off for now. Then I'm going to log back in about 3 minutes for Brother Mukhtar's class. Okay. So let me, what?
I don't think this site was rebooted because my pad was on it. It ain't never cut out.
Okay. Well, y'all can do that when I get right after I do this. Okay. So let me log out. We'll log back in. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika. Ashhadu an la. Oh, that's a lie. Anybody that told you that is innovation. Sister Saba, anytime people tell you stuff like that, tell them to bring their dalil. Because we don't have to recite no Quran in any prayer except El-Fatiha. Like I said, some people even question if that is even authentic. All right. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.